From the background I came from, born of immigrant parents, living in a council estate, but pride, aspiration, and hard work, that's not exclusive to anyone or any group of people. So I came from a family that had been asked to come to this country and had left all they knew behind. And so like that pioneering, first people kind of spirit. And when they got here, the reception they received was none too pleasant. So you learn from a really young age that you're not always going to be the chosen one, and that you have to say that you are, and keep reiterating that to not only yourself but to others. And so I felt that I had a talent, and if I worked hard enough, and that was the thing, if I worked hard enough, that I could make that talent into something that would be akin to a career. I mean, you dream about it, you don't know whether it's going to happen, and it has surpassed my initial dreams because I just wanted to sing. And now, years on, where I've got songs that people know and love, that was always my dream. So I feel like, yeah, I've achieved that, and it's still a dream. It's still, every time I get on stage, it's the most enjoyable. I love it. And if I'm on stage and with a live band, I mean, it's just off the Richter scale. I jump around still like I'm like a 10-year-old being given the keys to Willy Wonka's factory. The song Proud um, has taken on a life of its own. And what you do initially is you write something that means something to you. And, I've sung with a very successful band, and people were saying, do you want to leave that to go into the unknown? But people hadn't realized I was already a success, because to be an people, to write songs, to sell songs, have people come and see me do what I love to do, I was already a success. Nothing else could take that away, and I wanted to do something else, because you don't have a dream and think to yourself, it's going to make me loads of money. I'm going to be really. You might feel like that, my 18-year-old self, but by the time I was signed at 21 and dropped by 24, I realized that what it was is that I wanted to be out there as a singer and known for my vocal ability, and anything else was, as they say back in the day, gravy. So I just, you don't know what's going to happen. I wrote a song that meant something to me, and that success is measured not only in financial gain and not in something that's going to be status driven. And that I'd already made a success of what I wanted to do, and my life was successful. I had a beautiful child, and that in itself makes you fearless. And I think that that's what I am now. I'm fearless, and that's proud, being taken on and adopted by different organisations and individual people in the way that I wrote it, that it translated in just the way that I wanted it to be understood. I mean, that for me, that's a feat, and that people got it. It wasn't about being prideful. It was a proud moment. And sometimes we have loads of little moments that nobody else is going to applaud, but our hearts like skipping for joy, and you think that's worth celebrating. Nobody else might know about it. You see your child acquiring a new skill, learning to read for the first time and working those words out. That makes you really quite happy, as much as you jumping around stage and selling records, but no one else is going to feel that joy except for me and his father, of course. The whole Miranda issue and my head on a stick, which people now come to shows with, is very disconcerting as well. That was something that they one of the actors had instigated in they do this thing in the round where they just throw ideas, and she said, what about Heather Small's Proud? And she just carried on this theme, and they liked it, so they brought it into the show. I knew nothing about it beforehand, but I took it in the spirit that it was intended. And when somebody can go on TV, pretend to be you, and other people know who they're talking about, I think, yes, my job here is done. My 10-year-old self is satisfied. I'm a household name, and people will laugh at me. So yeah, it was very flattering, and they called me in on a few episodes, and to be on the last episode, it was magical. It was a joy. A lovely team of people, just so talented to sit and watch them, doing their craft. That inspires you. We were talking about inspiring before. Somebody doing the best at what they do, any endeavor, whatever it is, be it sport, be it music, be it, a nurse in a hospital. When you see that they're on top of their game, that inspires you to push a little bit harder in whatever you're doing yourself. So it makes everything is, I think, connected. Excellence breeds excellence. I think for me that the standout moments in my career definitely have to be the live shows. Always remember the live shows with a band, doing your thing, and you always feel like you can fly. So I did Old Trafford with Simply Red, and that was my first big event. I mean, I was helicoptered out because there were so many people. I thought, so there's Sean and I being helicoptered out, and I'm just thinking, I'm a pop star. My good grief, I'm a pop star. So that was my first pop star-ish kind of moment. And then we did Glastonbury, and with this pop dance band, and that's what people perceived us to be. And I thought, I'm not too sure what our reception is going to be. It was absolutely amazing. And that's the thing, I think any festival, that's the highlight of because there's an eclectic mix of bands, there's an appreciative audience, and you're all doing something that you love to do to a really receptive audience. It doesn't get better than that. So it'd have to be, for me, the live shows. I did a recent gig for NMP Live, and it was in Somerset, private gig. It was a 25-year anniversary for a couple, and it was so beautiful. It was in their private grounds. They treated me very, very well. They were just so happy for me to be there. And when you're doing something like that, where it's so personal, Diversity were there. They had their favourite people there, and you are plugged into people's special moments. You feel that, and they were so lovely. I mean, I gave a performance, and when it's something like that, you give a performance that's more personal, and you do wish the people well. I'll go and I'll say hey to family members. I've done things before where I've danced with grandmothers and stuff like that. It's because it's different. It's a memory, and a lasting memory. And if people are inviting you into something so special, you have to treat it with the respect that it deserves. And it makes me feel special because I think that they would ask me on such a special occasion. I think that the key to a successful live performance definitely is that you bring self to that performance, because people can listen to you sing more than adequately from a CD, hitting every note correct. And, as a performer, you want to hit those notes, and you want to show people that you are able to deliver what's on that record. But if that was only it, people would just listen to the CD. They do want to have a sense of who you are, and you have to give that sense of yourself to an audience. So, like I said, I'm quite an energetic performer. I can pick out what's happening now live in front of me in an audience, and I can channel that mood. And so whatever audience I'm in front of, I like to empower that audience as well. It's not just about me being up there and look at me, I'm great. It's more like we're great. and we're having a great time. So I am very family orientated, and that's what I like to try and do. I like to try and embrace and wrap my vocals around an audience. But I'm sassy with it. Not too touchy-feely, more sassy.